Uh, Ronin, tell me about your history with Egypt, working with Egypt tourism.
We have been selling Egypt since 1993.
And what is your take on the current situation?
Well, it's very tragic what's going on with Egypt. But as many of my Egyptian friends are saying, the Egyptian revolution was kidnapped by the Islamic Brothers, and on June 30th, Egypt took it back from them, hoping to get it back on track, and it seems that they are. The Islamic Brothers and other fundamentalist extremists are fighting to keep extremism in Egypt, and the Egyptians are fighting back to bring Egypt back to normality and to back to the world. And it seems that they're winning. It's not going to be easy. It's not going to be bloodless, but they will prevail. And the world is supporting them. Too bad that the American administration doesn't understand it, but most of the other countries are finally getting it.
What do you think the U.S. government should do? Should they take a stance or?
Absolutely. The U.S. government should take a stand against the Islamic Brothers and against Muslim extremists and against Muslim radicalism. Not everything is just about democracy and free elections, which by itself Egyptians questions right now how free were the elections last year.
Okay, let's be very specific here. When you say brotherhood, you are talking about the Muslim Brotherhood, are you?
Correct.
Okay. Yeah, let's for those people who are not aware of what that organization is like, can you tell us what you know of them?
The Muslim Brotherhood is a Muslim fundamentalist extremist organization that was founded in Egypt more than 80 years ago, with the purpose of creating, we're talking about the 20s and the 30s of the 20th century, and the purpose was to create a Sharia state in Egypt, and for that to expand it to the rest of the Muslim and eventually the rest of the world, being Egypt as its center. They never hide that was the purpose. They never hide that that is what they want to achieve. They were always persecuted, first by the royal house in Egypt, then by the military regime of Gamal Abdel Nasser, then Sadat, and then Mubarak, because they were violent, they were extremists, they were fundamentalists. Let's remember, they were the one who killed President Sadat for making peace with Israel, and from their ranks, now the head of Al-Qaeda is, and the extremists of Al-Qaeda were born with the ideology of the Muslim Brotherhood, and they managed to extend that extremist ideology beyond the borders of Egypt to other countries. And there is no doubt that the seeds of Al-Qaeda, the Taliban, and other radicalism Islamists were born in Egypt 80 and 90 years ago.
Egypt used to be the epitome of Arab Spring, you know, back in 2011, as a result of wanting to democratize and, if we say free will. That it's kind of a contradiction now with the Muslim Brotherhood being such a prominent player in what's going on in Egypt. Don't you agree?
Yes, and they made a lot of promises during the elections that took place in 2011. Those were false promises. But since they were the better politically organized body, they were the ones that managed to rally the crowd, and by doing that, that's to their credit. They managed to get the people around them. They were organized politically in the street, and they told the people what they wanted to hear. They told the people the right message, promising them not to bring extremist Islamic to the street, not to bring it to the politics, not to bring it to the parliament, and they straightforward lied. Okay. As soon as they were elected, immediately they changed the parliament, they immediately start changing the juridical system, and they start changing the constitution, and they told straightforward to the women that it's best for the society and the dignity of the society if they stay home, and when they're not, and if they have to be out of their home, like if they need to study or if they need to work, then it's best if they will be covered. Completely all what against what they promised not to be or not to do, they just launch it, and that would really upset the vast majority of the population, including those who voted for them.
Right. I can see that, and I do remember reading about it, and I felt, wow, Egypt's going backwards instead of going forward.
Completely. And you see, the Muslim Brotherhood had nothing to do with the January 2011 revolution. They just took a ride on it, and that's why many Egyptians feel that they kidnapped the revolution and they took it back to their hands. Luckily, the military was with them, because the military also felt that the Muslim Brotherhood are kidnapping the country from the people, and they were not and did not allow that to happen.
Now, as a person that sells tours to Egypt, I can imagine that business has been the obvious. It's been in dire straits. Talk about that. How's business?
Look, business has been devastating. Obviously, 2011 we saw a dramatic decrease in business by almost 85 to 90%. 2012 was almost completely dead. Towards the end of 2012, I would say the fourth quarter of 2012, people started coming back to Egypt, and the first half of 2013, we saw a slowly but steady increase of traffic to Egypt, to the point that we were planning to come up with new programs for the 2014 season, which starts on October 1st, but then came the June 30th second mini revolution, and all hell broke loose again, because you see, the Muslim Brotherhoods do not care about Egypt, they do not love the country, they only care about their extremist Muslim message.
Right.
Unlike Mubarak, that stepped down with almost no violence, and they are the ones that are fighting and creating all the bloodshed in the country, which is now almost non-existent. So, and that's what we've seen, the violence throughout the month of July.
As of today, would you recommend sending tourists to Egypt?
I would recommend to be very careful. I would recommend people that want to go to Egypt to learn and study the situation, be aware of what's going on, and make a conscious decision that they're going to an area that is vulnerable, to be aware they travel to a place that has suffered and is a bit unstable, that does have radicals in it that want to hurt the country. However, this is something that Americans and other tourists need to be aware. Tourism is such a fundamental revenue importance for Egypt that even in the darkest days of the revolution, not even one tourist was hurt. Even during the days of the Muslim Brotherhood, tourism was flowing into the country with no problems. The resorts on the Red Sea were and are full of tourism. The pyramids, the temples, the Nile cruises, everything is open for visits.
I agree, but that fact may have just changed recently, and I'm sorry to bring this
No,
up.
no, you're wrong. That fact remained intact and has not changed from January 11 until now.
Until
That's
now.
No,
Right,
yes, that
right.
is correct.
I agree. And that, do you know any the circumstances behind that? The person who got killed while being detained.
Look, that happened.
So that is
That he was not a tourist. He was an American that was studying in Egypt. He did not go to Egypt to do tourism. He went to Egypt to study Arabic and to identify with the revolution. It's very tragic what happened. Very tragic.
So technically, we can still claim that there hasn't been a single tourist that has been hurt.
That's correct. When somebody buys a tourist package for 8, 10, 14 days, that kind of tourism, no one was hurt. But remember, that person, and again, I'm not justifying it, and I feel very, very sorry for the family and for him, that he was living in Egypt. He went down to the protests. No tourist does that.
Right. Okay, well, on a lighter note, for those people who do want to go to Egypt, I can imagine there are pretty good deals to go, tours, packages, whatever, going on right now.
That's correct. As I said, rates for all 14 have been frozen since 2011. Unfortunately, the Egyptian government is not cooperating, and as of November 1st, they are increasing the entrance fee to the temple, the monuments, by almost 50%. And we are absorbing that increase, substantial part of the cost of the package. I have no idea why they take that step, but that is the decision that was taken by the Egyptian government.
When do you think you're going to resume? Well, you never stop as far as you're concerned, but resume.
No, we did stop for the summer. We did stop for July and August because it really was not safe.
Okay, so when do you think you're going to resume selling?
We're resuming on October 1st.
October 1st, and you do have people going in already?
Yes, we do.
And just to be clear, these are groups or FITs?
No, these are all individuals.
Okay.
These are families, couples, and FITs that have chosen a specific date that suits their schedule, and we arrange a trip for them. No one is staying in the downtown area of the Tahrir Square. They're all staying by the Giza, by pyramids. They're all traveling in private vans. Nobody is traveling by bus. And they all have a private guide and a private van at their disposal. Which is our standard anyway. There's nothing to do with the situation.
Right. I'd say it's a pretty exciting time to go to Egypt if you're an adventurous person.
Well, yes, you're witnessing history. And obviously we're not going to risk any one of our passengers.
Right.
We work very closely with the security authorities and with the tourism police that know exactly where our passengers are, and we know that we won't risk anybody of our passengers, period. Safety is our number one consideration.
And I think also we need to bring out the fact that Egypt is a pretty huge country, and the fighting could be going on in certain parts. There are hot spots, as well as there are areas that are not. There's no fighting. So as far as you are concerned, or what you know of the situation, which areas should be avoided and which areas are places to go?
Well, our local staff in Cairo are updated almost on an hourly basis, and they are avoiding the hot spots, quote unquote, and they're taking roads that are not affected. We are not, as I said, we're not staying in the downtown areas, so that's not.
You're talking about Cairo now?
Correct.
Right, so you are sending people to Cairo? You are sending people to Cairo, not to the Red Sea or to Sinai or...
No, Sinai is completely out of the question. We have not been sending people to Sinai since January 2011.
But you are sending...
Sinai is dangerous, period. We are not sending people to Sinai.
Okay.
Americans usually don't go to the Red Sea, so that's not a question for us.
Sinai
is out of the questions. Our people go to Cairo, Alexandria, and Upper Egypt, which is Luxor, Aswan, and Abu Simbel.
How's Sharm el-Sheikh?
No, Sharm el-Sheikh, if somebody wants to go, we will send them, but only by flight, not by car, not by road.
Right. Because I did speak with tourism. Two more questions. What's your message to travelers, and what's your message to Egypt?
No, I have no message to Egypt. They're fighting, they're struggling, and I know they will prevail and will come stronger than before. They have a long road ahead of them, and my heart is with them. I know that they will prevail, and I'm looking forward to be able to go back when things are better. I'm an Israeli, so unlike Americans, I cannot go back as of yet.
Right. Okay. So, is there anything else you'd like to add?
For the travelers,
right.
Before you go, before you decide to go, be informed and get informed exactly where you're going to, and trust that we will do the best for you as safety, and your safety is really the number one consideration for us.